So if you got to be a welder or a farmer or a ditch digger, that's just who you are that day. Then tomorrow, you can be somebody else.
Ste.Marie Airport Development Corporation, owner and operator of the Ste.Marie, Ontario, Canada Airport, is proud to support the Sault Curlers Fall Classic and welcome all to beautiful Sault Ste. Marie. The Sault Ste. Marie Airport. Go there to get anywhere.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
The 2025-2026 Grand Slam of Curling schedule is out, with big events happening all over Canada, like the Masters heading to London in September, the Tour Challenge from Nisku this October, the Canadian Open from Saskatoon in December, and the Players' Championship from Steinbach coming in January. Early bird weekend and full event passes on sale now at gsoctickets.com. Let's rock!
The rock faces around Lake Tahoe are legendary. But this fall, new ones will emerge in the Tahoe Basin. Pullman, Mowat, Gushu, and more. November 4th through 9th, the Grand Slam of Curling's first ever event in the U.S. is coming to Lake Tahoe, where the greatest rock stars on earth unite for 6 days of incredible curling, celebrity appearances, and après curl parties you won't want to miss. Get your tickets at thegrandslamofcurling.com. Let's rock!
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Welcome to therockshop.net, the official store for the Grand Slam of Curling. Whether you're looking for the best hats, stylish clothing, fun toys, or unique accessories, the Rock Shop has it all. Shop online anytime at therockshop.net for exclusive Grand Slam of curling gear, or come see us in person at your next event. Therockshop.net, where fans find their favorite curling gear.
For over 20 years, the Sandra Schmirler Foundation has granted more than $9 million to hospitals across Canada for life-saving equipment for premature and critically ill babies. In the past 4 years alone, $4 million has been granted thanks to the curling community's incredible generosity. The need continues year-round, and with your help, we can ensure every baby has the chance to grow up and become a champion, just like Sandra.
Developed over a decade in collaboration with the finest ice makers this side of the Atlantic, the Pebblehead PB5 is nothing short of a triumph of sophistication and craftsmanship. Weighing less than half its lumbering copper predecessors, yet boasting tenfold their durability, the PB5 delivers perfect, consistent ice, time after time. The PB5 by Pebbleheads.com, the apex of ice-making ingenuity for the roaring game of curling.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
If you work the land, you just got to be a jack of all trades type. There's just too much to do. So if you got to be a welder, or a farmer, or a ditch digger, that's just who you are that day. Then tomorrow, you can be somebody else.
Ste.Marie Airport Development Corporation, owner and operator of the Ste.Marie, Ontario, Canada Airport, is proud to support the Sault Curlers Fall Classic and welcome all to beautiful Sault Ste. Marie. The Sault Ste. Marie Airport. Go there to get anywhere.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
The 2025-2026 Grand Slam of Curling schedule is out, with big events happening all over Canada, like the Masters heading to London in September, the Tour Challenge from NISCU this October, the Canadian Open from Saskatoon in December, and the Players' Championship from Steinbach coming in January. Early bird weekend and full event passes on sale now at gsoctickets.com. Let's rock!
The rock faces around Lake Tahoe are legendary. But this fall, new ones will emerge in the Tahoe Basin. Holman, Mowat, Gushu, and more. November 4th through 9th, the Grand Slam of Curling's first ever event in the U.S. is coming to Lake Tahoe, where the greatest rock stars on earth unite for 6 days of incredible curling, celebrity appearances, and après curl parties you won't want to miss. Get your tickets at thegrandslamofcurling.com. Let's rock!
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Welcome to therockshop.net, the official store for the Grand Slam of Curling. Whether you're looking for the best hats, stylish clothing, fun toys, or unique accessories, The Rock Shop has it all. Shop online anytime at therockshop.net for exclusive Grand Slam of Curling gear, or come see us in person at your next event. therockshop.net, where fans find their favorite curling gear.
For over 20 years, the Sandra Schmirler Foundation has granted more than $9 million to hospitals across Canada for life-saving equipment for premature and critically ill babies. In the past 4 years alone, $4 million has been granted thanks to the curling community's incredible generosity. The need continues year-round, and with your help, we can ensure every baby has the chance to grow up and become a champion, just like Sandra.
Developed over a decade in collaboration with the finest ice makers this side of the Atlantic, the Pebblehead PB5 is nothing short of a triumph of sophistication and craftsmanship. Weighing less than half its lumbering copper predecessors, yet boasting tenfold their durability, the PB5 delivers perfect, consistent ice, time after time. The PB5 by Pebbleheads.com, the apex of ice-making ingenuity for the roaring game of curling.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
If you work the land, you just got to be a jack of all trades type. There's just too much to do. So if you got to be a welder, or a farmer, or a ditch digger, that's just who you are that day. Then tomorrow, you can be somebody else.
Ste.Marie Airport Development Corporation, owner and operator of the Ste.Marie, Ontario, Canada Airport, is proud to support the Sault Curlers Fall Classic and welcome all to beautiful Sault Ste. Marie. The Sault Ste. Marie Airport. Go there to get anywhere.
Get all my screens.
Yeah, that's the only bad thing about being quote unquote on the road is a normal setup is very not normal setup.
Welcome back to the Henderson Metal Fall Classic, presented by your Ontario Coyote dealers. This is draw number 7. But before we start,
If you work the land, you just got to be a jack of all trades type. There's just too much to do. So if you got to be a welder or a farmer or a ditch digger, that's just who you are that day. Then tomorrow, you can be somebody else.
tomorrow. The number of teams will continue to get smaller. The pressure will continue to build as we head toward the quarterfinals. So have fun, enjoy your breakfast, and prepare for more world-class curling here at the Henderson Metal Fall Classic. So here are the matchups for this morning's game. On
faces around Lake Tahoe are legendary. But this fall, new ones will emerge in the Tahoe Basin. Pullman, Moe, Gushu, and more. November 4th through 9th, the Grand Slam of Curling's first ever event in the U.S. is coming to Lake Tahoe, where the greatest rock stars on earth unite for 6 days of incredible curling, celebrity appearances, and on-break curl parties you won't want to miss. Get your tickets at theGrandSlamOfCurling.com. Let's rock.
Ste.Marie Airport Development Corporation, owner and operator of the Ste.Marie, Ontario, Canada Airport, is proud to support the Sault Curlers Fall Classic and welcome all to beautiful Sault Ste. Marie. The Sault Ste. Marie Airport, go there to get anywhere.
Good morning, curling fans. Welcome to the B qualifier, coming to you from Sault Ste. Marie. It's part of the Henderson Metal Fall Classic, presented by Coyote Tractors of Ontario. This is, as we say, the B qualifier. So we've got Team Carruthers taking on Team Sinnett. A bit of an early morning, Ste.Marie. And we're way over on the edge sheet this morning. My name's Gord Copplethorne. I'm coming to you with Sean Joyce. Sean, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing all right. It's an earlier morning for us here in Saskatoon than it is in Sault Ste. Marie, though. 2-hour time difference.
Yeah, it's too dark to even tell you how it looks outside.
Yeah.
But still fun. All right, well, we brought you last night's match between, what was it? It was Returnaz and close match with Epping. We had some great shot making paired with some slightly goofy choice making. What do you think you might see between Sinnett and Carruthers this morning?
Well, your choice of words was interesting, but I think you might see some of the same. And I think it comes from the fact that, again, a lot of these teams, we talked about it last night, they get used to playing on ice that curls 4 to 5 feet. This stuff is 3 to 4. And it changes the way you call the game, and it changes the types of shots you can make, and takes these guys out of their comfort zone a little bit. But there's still a lot of good shots to be made. You just have to make them a little different than what they're used to, and that will force a few errors. But again, we saw it last night. We're seeing it again here so far this morning. They got rocks in play to start this opening end. 2 guards up. There are clocks in play. That's one of the things that I want to stress, because for a lot of these bonspiels there aren't. So there's no time pressure, but there are clocks being used here.
Well, that little silent takeout's almost on cue with your whole intro speech there. That is a very makeable normal shot on a 5-6 feet of curl sheet, and not so much on a 3 feet of curl sheet.
You can make them here, but it's tougher, and the thought that you can make them, and it's hard to hold a shooter on this ice.
Correct. So we saw a lot more freezes with the first 4 or 5 rocks of an end last evening, and that was a case of just a little bit safer shot, you might say.
A safer shot, but that's one that you can make on both types of ice, and it's the way a lot of these top teams play nowadays. It's jockey for position in the house for a while until you've got your angles set up in your favor, and then all of these teams are so good at the run backs. It doesn't matter what your strength is. Some teams prefer the finesse style. Some teams will play a lot of high hard ones, but they can all make the run backs, and a lot of them will try to manipulate those angles in the house until they've got a good setup before they play it. Now, this is the 6th stone of the end, and Reid's in trouble, so they're kind of forced to do it early.
Getting into the early heaters. All right, so Caitlin's being asked to just clean it up. First end, let's not get carried away. Carruthers does have hammer, so let's just open up the 4-foot. It was a nice peel coming down. We're going to move one, well, only one, but added to the corner guard pile. No harm in that. And Team Sinnett is going to be just, well, looking to add to the guard pile. So, guard peel is kind of the pattern we're looking like we're going to follow for at least a few. So now they'll be looking to put this one a bit higher, I suspect.
Actually, on this ice, you might. That's one of the differences with the ice that curls really hard. You hate to be too high with a guard because you could come around it with enough weight to kill a stone. On this stuff, you really can't. So they can put these guards a little bit higher. It makes the run backs a little tougher.
End of the day, cover the rocks in the house.
Yep.
One of those line is more important than depth, but you don't want to get too tight. Because here's Reid coming along with, let's move some yellows. Caitlin gets round number 2 at Rip It. DJ on a bit of an early sweep. Coming down, what do we got this time? 1, 2. All right, 2 yellows in the corner. Bit of a center guard left behind, but at least it's your own color this time. Chase electing to just keep putting rocks in and around the 4-foot. Kind of has let's see what we can do to be ±1 early in the game feel to it. Could you not have also thrown maybe a guard or something?
Yeah, I think I might have opted for the guard here. This is, again, now it's the green one out front, so there's some danger here. You come into the house, you're leaving them to run double.
And my gut feeling was one of those just tuck a corner under the other one guard.
Or higher than the other one on this ice. It doesn't really matter.
This isn't so bad. You know, you spread them a little, the run and roll, but he's got that half rock of the back one showing.
Yeah, he can go after it. That one actually curled harder than they would have liked at the end. They were trying to do the Christmas tree thing we've talked about before. That had big movement at the end. It poked out a little bit on the other side, yeah.
All right, so Reid's just looking to roll this under those 2 green guards on the far right as we see them. EJ with his very well recognized low slide. Not too many people throw that way anymore, but it works well for them. So they're looking for about, call it a third and a roll. On off. That's an excellent shot. So that one's very cozy back there, and not a ton they can do about it.
Your choices. This he was gesturing as we either double peel the guards or we try to corner freeze this. And it's never comfortable to try to chase around a corner guard when you don't have last rock.
Yeah, it's not a preferential shot of mine. Could you not take that same possibly swingy path and dump it underneath your own in the edge of the 4-foot?
You could, but you're flirting with, again, you leave him half a rock out, he makes it again, and now you're flirting with giving up 3. You'd like to have an open path to get to that stone at some point. It's tough to make the double peel, though, and roll your shooter out of the way.
Well, we're going to see how this looks.
Over the top and get all 3 of them, maybe?
Early sweep. Bang, bang. Well, all right. We'll call that successful. You've got 2/3, if not 3/4 of the rock in the biting the 12 over there. Reid's, as expected, just going to wrap around the outside of the 2 down the middle. Key thing there being the outside, so any hit is not towards his other green, right?
Yeah. Yeah, interesting, though, the way we saw that yellow wrap around it, there might be a spot where just because of the conditions. He's got better swing around the other turn by the looks of it. Granted, we only saw the one, but boy, did that move hard at the end.
And you tend to want to go with the stagger of the guards, but
yeah,
you also assume they threw something similar to this in practice, so it's not completely without merit. Certainly looking like
sure.
She's curling.
At least on the draws. Yeah, he's buried on a rock in the 12-foot there, but maybe just a little too deep.
Does kind of have corner freeze to get out of trouble written on it, doesn't it? So it's a bit hard to say. Judging by this, I'd say behind the tee line, or at least nibbling the back of the tee line. So a corner freeze would certainly get you out of a whole heck of a lot of trouble. So their broom's out there. This is 4.5 feet. I would gauge without my ruler.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more than we saw yesterday. All right, so let's see what this path looks like. Don't want to bounce off. A hair short's probably the safer way to miss this. A out turn draw to the button. They've thrown this one at least one. He didn't look very happy about it, which means it's probably heavy. I got 14.9, so I wouldn't call it heavy on the stopwatch, but it sure isn't doing a lot.
Yeah, they're trying to come behind the green one now just so they can't hit and sit 3.
Save something out of it. That's not an outrageous shot. He's sitting second. A hit and roll would probably not be able to save the shooter, so Reid's going to go and pile on to what would be a skips 3.
Yeah, he's kind of got to. If that greenstone that was sitting there was a foot higher, he might make a play on the back one now, but he's just inviting another chance for that freeze if he doesn't make it himself. Got to get that stone in a good position in front of the tee line.
Absolutely. If he's frozen, again, slightly short of it, then Team Sinnett's going to be up to their eyes in an awkward position. All right, let's see what Reid has here. He's got about 3 or 4 inches less than Chase chose on their draw. Connor with the early sweep to try to hold it out. Maybe a little on the light side. Schneider in on the action. Yeah, this is a 16.
Yeah, and that's more than just holding it out there. It's still got to curl a ton.
Well, that kind of looks hittable.
It does. There's a double there.
Kind of makes you wonder their sweeping choice. Perhaps they should have been on the other sweeper a little earlier, because that certainly had the makings of a good shot. How much more? 3 inches of curl and that was safe?
Yeah, probably.
I suppose you could have just slashed the heck out of it, but would have clipped the back yellow.
It's not without risk as it is, but...
Yeah, clip that front guard and you're giving up a very early 3. If you get just past the guard, it looks like a makeable double to sit 2.
I don't even think you need to be that tight by the guard. You get to the nose of the green when you're missing the second one and taking out the yellow at the back. So.
This is fair. So we're looking at like 7/8 on the high side.
Yeah, or if you could make it with 3/4, that might be nice too, because as 7/8, your shooter's not going to roll very far, and you're going to leave a double back for 2. I'm getting greedy now, but you'd like to make the double and roll about 2 feet, and then the angle's no good for Reid to make it back.
Well, greedy's allowed in the planning, and this is what we were just talking about. A little bit of a cleanup on the hit on the green on the side, but it wasn't a meaningful rock. So now Reid's got kind of a free draw.
Yeah, what they're looking at is, can he come to his own and still be shot rock over the yellow at the back? And we don't have the overhead going this morning, so I don't know if he can.
Oh!
Somebody forgot to tell Reid there were corner guards out there.
Picked himself up and dusted off quickly, so we'll call him healthy and safe. But yes, he kind of forgot that he had some friends out there. Now, were those rocks in the way of the draw path, or are they just putting them in there for gratuitous?
If he's trying to come to his own, they were not in the way. I don't know whether they decided they could come to his own or if he's got to go to the side of the 4 foot. So
now they had their broom just into the 12, so that kind of says to me they don't really want to come to their own, or just kind of queued up to the side of it.
yeah, you could maybe chisel off the side of it a little bit, and then you're safe. He doesn't want to go. He doesn't want to go too much wider though, because then he changes the path he's in, and it's the first end. So much of the pregame practice is geared towards the draw to the button, and then even here they haven't gone that wide. So you start getting 6 inches wider, it's possible nobody's thrown a rock down there yet, and the speed will be quite different.
Well, let's see what he comes up with. So threw a 16 on the first, hog to hog, and they hard swept it to bite the top 4. Connor's got some action going again, so he's thinking it's at least similar.
Well, that'll be fine if they can get it there.
You can bite any side of the 4 foot. This is 16 again, so this is more or less the same weight. They really got to work it though.
I don't know.
It's hard to say, but I'm not going to give him 3 thumbs up until they put it on the board, because that looked a hair short. Survey says minor error. To your point, a little bit wider out. Tried to add a few feet. Needed to add a few more feet. Well, after the first end, it's 2-0 Reid Carruthers. We'll be back in a minute.
You work the land, you just got to be a jack of all trades type. There's just too much to do. So if you got to be a welder or a farmer or a ditch digger, that's just who you are that day. Then tomorrow, you can be somebody else.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
Live curling rocks. And this November, the best in the world are coming to Tahoe. Get your seats now at gsoctickets.com. But hurry, early bird pricing ends soon.
Welcome back, curling fans. This is the early morning B qualifier action of the Henderson Medal Fall Classic, brought to you by Kioti Tractors of Ontario. We are coming to you on Curling Stadium out of Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, Canada. This is the match between Reid Carruthers and Sinnett. We, of course, have a variety of other things going on this morning that you can find on Curl Zone, but thank you very much for choosing to join us. So, Sean, first in, a little bit sloppy here and there, but a 2 on the board for Reid. Any resounding thoughts?
Well, yeah, most of the sloppy was in the last couple of shots, and I think maybe they got caught. That out-turn side going towards the scoreboard looks like there might be a little bit more curl than what we've seen in a couple of the earlier games that I did anyway. And I wonder if they're just getting caught. We're into the third day now, and like I said, these guys are all used to having a little bit more curl. And you find in an event like this, as you play a few more games, you get used to bringing the broom in, you bring the broom in, and now all of a sudden it's curling a little bit more, whether that's just this particular sheet of ice, because we are on, it's not exactly an in sheet. They've got bleachers set up, but whether it's just because it's this particular sheet of ice, or perhaps it's because it's a morning draw, and sometimes you'll get a little bit more swing in the morning just because everything's crisp and fresh. And
I was having a very similar thought. To me, it seemed like the curl was away from the wall side of the sheet, but we aren't actually a wall sheet. So I was thinking much the same. Maybe some frost or just cooler rocks. A lot of things play into how a rock decides to do what it does.
Yeah, but it does show you that, I mean, tendencies are there with curlers. You get used to the ice maybe being just a little bit straighter, and now you've got a little bit more swing here this morning, and they're getting caught early. We saw a few over curls, clipped a guard. Here's another one. Good movement at the end. Again, that one would have been, if he puts that on the tee line, it's wide open.
It would have come out of the side. Yeah. Absolutely. It certainly has more of that tradition.
In earlier games, that we've got a couple of teams that we've seen out here that are used to playing on that big swing, that have that slight inside out release. You don't want to alter that. You want to move your broom if you can. It's always a little iffy to start messing with your mechanics. So throw them the way you always do, adjust the broom as you need to, and maybe be aware that you have to sweep them a little differently than you might otherwise too.
That one was an undercurl. Now that might have been a path, might have been through more weight, a little hard to tell. But if you throw a little more weight, you're also going to take some curl out, I suppose.
Yeah, you can for sure. But that's the problem with the more weight, though, is you kind of take your sweepers out of it. The directional sweeping, and there's still a lot of debate about how much that works with the new foam and the new brush heads. But it definitely works better on quieter weight.
Well, we're seeing the same thing there. So BJ, as opposed to Caitlin, threw a little bit different, maybe a little bit harder, and it rolled out. So that's about, like, what would you call it, a foot and a half different path?
Yeah. From nose on the green to half a rock on the yellow. Yeah.
So we're going to see some quick accommodation through this first bit of the game as they're trying to figure out how to play their shots. So let's see how Team Sinnett recovers. They rolled too far. Now they're looking for just about call it a 3/4 inch closer to nose. Early sweep. This one seems a little lighter than their last attempt at it. And survey says that's a really nice hit and roll. Yeah. That's A-grade quality. They figured it out.
I think we're going to see a triple attempt here. Oh, he is going to play the corner freeze. I thought with everything lined up, he might try to get all of them going. I got to say, Kevin needs a new picture. I'm looking at our profile pictures on here, and he looks like he's about 8. And I kid you not, looks like he's about 8 years old in the profile picture on Curling Zone.
I'm not going to argue with you. Not that any of them look like they're out of high school by these pictures.
Well, no, but if Kevin had a toothy grin in the picture, you wouldn't be totally shocked if his front teeth were still missing.
All I want for Christmas is my 2 front teeth. All right, well, that's actually quite entertaining. Welcome to Saturday morning curling. Reid's elected to try to just chop the whole side of the house off. This is actually a tip of the hat to his mixed doubles style. Sometimes you can save a lot more with a well-thrown draw than a hard-thrown hit. Except for it has to be a well-thrown draw. What do you think? That's movable. You can sit to.
It is, yeah.
And it's deep enough that there won't be any kind of double back. So long as they've figured out this path, this is a great opportunity to get your 2 back.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 schools of thought here. You don't have to move it on this shot either. You could play the freeze, and I'll tell you where I'm going with this. You move it back, your rock is going to bounce out a little bit into the open, and you're going to be just in front of the tee line. If Reid hits and rolls behind the corner after that, both of your rocks are eliminated. Whereas if you freeze this one, well, moot point.
I get where you're going
out.
with it.
Yeah,
You
could still freeze it, and you'd have a chance to get rid of the green later, but you'd be in a much more powerful position.
The defense would have been to freeze back, and then you're hoping you can get all the greens out. But hey, I certainly won't call your thought process bad.
That's where I was thinking. You freeze, he freezes on the corner again, and you squeeze, and both greens go, and the yellow stays.
That's a pretty 3. Yeah.
Yep.
But that's not how it played out, so we're just going to forget the last 2 attempts at this and try again. So now it's Reid's turn to try to weld one onto what would be the corner of a slightly overburied shot on a sheet that we were just earlier saying is starting to curl harder. So, just don't be past it is kind of what the story of this one is. They seem to think it's pretty good. Reid had a good grasp draw weight last end. Was a little light on his last one, but that was more path than anything. It's got a long way to go. This is looking very similar to BJ's attempt at it. A little bit more tucked in. So now I think we're going to get into what you were talking about, which is maybe we just freeze theirs and create the set for a 3.
Yeah, it's deep enough now that you kind of need to move it if you can, because you freeze to it. Reid can freeze to it again and be shot rock. It's just this one's more buried as well. That's the thing. It makes it tougher. I mean, they didn't make it the way they wanted to last shot, and you can't see as much this time. You can only see a sliver.
So it looks like they're taking the move it, call it 4 inches, enough to be sitting 2 and some nice clean backing, I suppose.
Yeah.
I'm not sure you're going to get high enough to really comfortably call it backing, but hey, if you can get to a third of a rock, you're not too bad off.
Yeah, the key is don't think of this like you have to kill it. It's almost like a draw weight split, really. It's throw back 12, just move it 4 inches. And I think the key here is roll well out into the open so that Reid has a tough time rolling back behind cover.
Well, let's see what they come up with. Sweepers are keeping clean. A little jiggle of the fingers kind of says a bit warm. Going for the get it to move as far as they can. Starting to walk now. Not a ton of air. Okay, well, they did kill it. And to your point, they had the long roll, and they're sitting a really distant pair of rocks in the house. That's a good outcome.
Yeah, that's a great outcome. Reid can't ignore that stone because then he brings 3 into play, so he's got to hit it, and that means you're going to have some kind of open shot at 2. If Reid hits us right on the nose, you might have to hit this to get your 2, but
I'm not sure anyone's going to be too concerned about a wide open hit on the middle of the sheet at the back of the house.
Yeah.
So I think Sinnett's happy with either choice, draw or hit.
If he rolls 2 inches either way, he might already be shot. Then you can have your choice whether you want to hit it or just throw a draw.
With a little tiny setback on it. Connor being asked to try to walk it back over. In all fairness, if Reid rolls out, it doesn't really change the narrative. It's get rid of the yellow one.
Yeah.
Plaque. Objective made. Wasn't the cleanest or prettiest, but did what he needed to. Put a yellow in the corner, and now Team Sinnett just needs to walk this somewhere into the house. You need to outcount a 2-inch biter.
Yeah, he probably would have preferred to stay just because anytime you got to hit a rock in the back of the house, you don't have a lot of room to roll out. You're more likely to get a mistake on a hit in the back 12 foot than you are on a draw, but he made it go away. That's the key, and Samuel Strauss, who throws the last pair for this team, was always going to have a shot for 2. It's a draw.
Correct. At this level, we assume he was going to make either. But to your point, Reid always wants to add as much pressure as possible. Is what it is. Had a few errors early in the game. Just got to put this one somewhere in the paint. Sweepers seem to like it. Nice, lazy, clean. Always feels good to drop it right on the button. Pretty darn good attempt. That's 2 on the board for Team Sinnett. Tie game after 2. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Developed over a decade in collaboration with the finest ice makers this side of the Atlantic, the Pebblehead PB5 is nothing short of a triumph of sophistication and craftsmanship. Weighing less than half its lumbering copper predecessors, yet boasting 10-fold their durability, the PB5 delivers perfect, consistent ice, time after time. The PB5 by Pebbleheads.com, the apex of ice-making ingenuity for the roaring game of curling.
The 2025-2026 Grand Slam of Curling schedule is out, with big events happening all over Canada, like the Masters heading to London in September, the Tour Challenge from Nisku this October, the Canadian Open from Saskatoon in December, and the Players' Championship from Steinbach coming in January. Early bird weekend and full event passes on sale now at gsocktickets.com. Let's rock!
I've got this one. So, how was that?
Wonderful. Now let's do it again.
BDO Assurance, a commitment to quality.
Welcome back, curling fans. We're rolling into the third end here at the B qualifier of the Henderson Medal Fall Classic, brought to you by Kioti Tractors of Ontario. Thank you very much to Kioti for supporting us in these adventures. It's been a bit of a strange couple of ends, a bit of misses here and there as teams are learning new conditions, be it rocks or ice early in the morning. We've seen a couple of mistakes and the opponents jumping on them to both score a savvy deuce. So this end, I suspect, will play out much the same. Throw some rocks up and jockey around a bit. We see a center and a corner guard. That corner guard's not as far over as you quite often see, covering mid 8 foot instead of edge 8 foot. Is there a preference in your book about where a corner guard goes?
It really depends on the ice conditions. Like a lot of times, a corner guard in the position where that one is, it'll kind of block your draw path to the button, and you prefer not to do that if you can. I mean, you're hoping to play the end of the corner, but you know the rule kind of dictates you might not get that opportunity, and you'd like to have 2 draw paths to the button at the end. And that corner guard, it's probably not in your way on this ice.
It's also deep.
It's going to look like it's in your eye when you're in the hack. So you're definitely, it's not going to be a comfortable draw to the button if you had to throw it on the intern side.
All right, and in the first end, we saw a similar setup to this, and they tried to chop that one out of the top for this, and they elect to freeze to it. A little bit more of what we saw in the return as game yesterday. Him and John Epping were willing to put, call it 4, maybe even 5 rocks into the 4 foot before anybody hit anything. This is looking to have a similar pattern.
And I think that's a little bit more conventional nowadays with the 5 rock. You don't want to risk the complete miss. especially with the no tick zone too. You don't want to touch that guard. You touch it at all. That was an unintended. I've talked about this in previous broadcasts. I haven't mentioned it with you, Gord, but that was one of the unintentional effects of the change in that rule to put in the no tick zone. Used to be, you saw a situation like this, you might play, let's throw a hack waiter, and if we rub the guards, so what? We'll get it out of the way. We can't do that anymore. So you have to play those shots with a little bit more precision. And so I think that's where there's been more freezes played in the middle, because we can't play the plan B. The plan B, actually, the guard goes back and our rock comes off.
I'll support that. I've seen, especially at club level, so much more cases of, we got a little too tight to the guard, clicks it, moves it 2-3 inches, and oh no, put everything back where it was, and oh darn, that's a terrible outcome.
But that used to be how we played it. It's like,
absolutely,
well, we'll tight ice this. If we rub the guard, so be it. And you can't do that now.
Absolutely. That was almost a way around the 5-guard rule. Just nudge it, get it to bite the house, and then next time you can hit it.
Yeah.
But that's not the new rules, and certainly makes the game entertaining. So there was an interesting choice. Was that guard intentional? Seems
I don't think so. I think they were trying to corner freeze the yellow at the top of the 8-foot. They got the line they wanted, but not the weight.
Now Chase is saying, I like these angles. I'm just going to put it underneath everything, which is not a typical call, wrap around under everything, but you can sit 2. And then Reid's going to be baited into moving rocks, I would expect.
Yeah, at this point in time, I would think he'd have to. The fact that they left that green so high is not good for them now. The decision will be, does he try to play the double peel? He could run the green straight back.
This is a little toasty. They were looking for bite back 4 wrapped underneath everything. Biting back 8's a bit on the deep side.
He's not even going to think about running it straight back. Well, his first thought is to play the double peel for sure.
So he's basically saying double out the guard and one of the 2 yellows.
Yeah. That was the last part of the discussion. And so they're trying to keep the shooter on a corner as a corner guard. So if they hit it a little too thick and miss the second guard, it's going to clip the yellow at the top of the 8-foot. Either one's good.
So they're doing this is a usable weight, not cannonball.
Yeah, this is back, though. He definitely wants to hold the shooter.
Doesn't have a lot of the front one.
Doesn't have a lot of weight
that's a
either.
Sneaky little double win. Get rid of both guards, put one in the house, get a corner guard, edge on edge. It's going to make Chase have to think this one through. There's no double there with that yellow sitting underneath the other green.
No, but you can come over there and break that corner freeze a little bit.
That would be a nice outcome.
It's the best he can do, I think, on this one. So you're hitting the... I guess it's fully open past the corner guard. Hit that, come across, and just nudge the green yellow. You'd stay corner frozen on the green, and then you're hoping to break up that corner freeze.
So basically 2 shots in one. Kill the green and clean up the angles a little bit.
Yeah, change those angles. They're not good for you right now.
There's the first objective. Ooh, that's a nice little roll up. The angle's not ideal. Kind of got a double set up at the front. You kind of got a double set up on the side. There's a lot of yellows that could leave here.
If you hit the top yellow right on the nose, you might get 3 of them, and it might even come back. You might move all 4 of them. And the funny part of it is, yeah, that's what I was going to say. You might, if you hit this just right, all 4 yellows might move, and that green, nothing touches it.
It kind of looks, I would almost say, a hair off nose
on the if we look at the overhead on the
just
left
the
side.
Yeah, just a hair off the nose on the left. The yellow should go over top the green. The yellow that you first contact should go past the green. Maybe clip the.
Yeah, it might clip it. It might drag enough to touch it, but it's not going to move it very far. The other option now, what BJ's looking at, just play the hit and roll over behind the corner, in which case they might not even touch. They might not move the second yellow very far, but you might make the double on the one in the 4-foot.
Well, I was just going to ask you, if you throw fireball weight at this, do you move 2 yellows and roll all the way across under the guard if you get 7/8?
Well, you could. That looks like that's what they're trying, because he's got room to still hit it very thick. And they definitely talked about the roll.
This is when you know you're watching the pros, when everything has 2 or 3 outcomes that you're chasing. So we're looking to put 2 yellows in the corner and roll pretty. So let's see what we got. Bang! 1, 2. Just a hair thick for the roll, but almost. Not an obvious double back.
No, there's no double back.
Now they got to be careful how they hit these green ones with that yellow they threw to the back of the house. Now looking a little bit.
BJ's looking at what I'm looking at. I'm trying to decide who ended up with third shot out of that. We're getting late enough in the end that could almost matter. I think it's the yellow at the back.
I would say the yellow at the back. So Chase is thinking hit and roll towards our right somewhere safe, which is getting to be a pretty small space. So this is Kevin's second, so we've still got lots of rocks to go. Looking for a nice roll, probably somewhere towards that corner. Well, there. That's okay outcome. That's not bad. Is that doubleable? It's wide apart. It's flat.
It's tripleable.
That's even, more to the point, that one at the back. It's a little bit broader than a 90-degree, but it looks really close. Reid says worth a shot.
Yeah, he's going to have to throw some weight at this because the first one's really flat, but we just saw, the history. It's the big weight's not a problem for BJ.
Well, I wouldn't call this super strong, but hey, that's all right. Holding the line. Nose. Back double. 2 in the corner. Okay. Most of the objective. The defense is not a hard shot now. Hit and roll as far the other way as you can, but
yeah, you shouldn't leave a double back now. As long as you get enough of a roll. If you under roll this, you could leave him a double back.
Correct. All right, so this end of Smack It is now hit and roll. Call it a solid almost 6 feet roughly off to the other side of the sheet. Something in that ballpark. All right, Sam Strauss up to bat now. So if they do roll cross house, possibly partly into that green one, does Reid just freeze?
Yep, that'll be all you have. You're not bringing the front one back in at that point, but this will have to be at or behind the tee line to make the roll as far as they need to go.
They're not hitting this very hard, so this is more about the roll. Nice controlled weight. And where do they go? Where do they go? He's saying stop. They keep going. That was almost a hair too far of a roll.
Well, I mean, there's no double. You knew that Reid was going to play this. The situation kind of dictated, well, this is what we got to play. We know this is what Reid's going to play after we do, and then what are we going to have left? Now, even if he makes the corner freeze, you might have a green double straight back. Because I can't imagine he's going to get enough to the face that you have to worry about dead jamming it.
I wouldn't think so. I'm just sitting here thinking, had they left the rock fully open, then you just could have hit the freeze.
Well,
if
yeah.
they rolled a few inches farther, then the freeze is actually not really there.
But if you leave it fully open, he just hits and rolls behind the green himself. So
fair enough.
It's you got to pick the shot you want him to make. So
they did what they were after: hit and roll across the house, take away the double. Reid's had good draw weight. They haven't quite managed to put it where they want. This is close.
It's going sideways. He's not getting by.
Little kiss off. You are absolutely correct.
I want to hit that right on the nose if it's meat. No, you don't want to roll.
I don't see the value in the roll. That gives you way more forefoot to draw to.
And if you hit it on the nose, I don't think he could just play the double back because I'm not sure he'd be shot rock over the one on the side.
Absolutely. Yes, I would love to just nail it dead on the nose and don't move at all. Now, the safe side is a small roll to what would be our currently viewed right. But yes, nose would be great. They've been throwing that. It's kind of funny. They're throwing kind of an in the middle, in between weight in my book. They're throwing more than board and lighter than a typical control. But hey, it's working for them. I always say throw the one you're comfortable with. Fairly clean. Down. 12. That's. Well,
yeah, they played that all the way like they wanted to roll. I didn't, but
I didn't see the value in the roll. Kind of makes this draw easier, considering he just threw this exact shot. And even if you kiss off one of those two, you're just spilling into the safe place anyway. Anyways, if force was the objective, they have won. They are technically sitting 3. So Reid's got to come up with any kind of piece of the forefoot. Weight hasn't been his problem, just reading the line's been a bit wonky, so lots of room to play. Sweepers like it. Giving it a little help, but not too much help.
this is where the last one started to break. And there it goes again. Look at that move.
Certainly walking over, but they gave themselves lots of air on this one. They technically have the back one for backing. Reid was actually quite a bit heavy. He was off 15 on that one, but hey, they used the backing and walked away with 1. After 3, the score is 3-2 for Reid Carruthers. We'll be back in just a minute.
Developed over a decade in collaboration with the finest ice makers this side of the Atlantic, the Pebblehead PB5 is nothing short of a triumph of sophistication and craftsmanship. Weighing less than half its lumbering copper predecessors, yet boasting tenfold their durability, the PB5 delivers perfect, consistent ice, time after time. The PB5 by Pebbleheads.com, the apex of ice-making ingenuity for the roaring game of curling.
Live curling rocks. And this November, the best in the world are coming to Tahoe. Get your seats now at gsoctickets.com. But hurry, early bird pricing ends soon.
If you work the land, you just got to be a jack of all trades type. There's just too much to do. So if you got to be a welder or a farmer or a ditch digger, that's just who you are that day. Then tomorrow, you can be somebody else.
Ste.Marie Airport Development Corporation, owner and operator of the Ste.Marie, Ontario, Canada Airport, is proud to support the Sioux Curlers Fall Classic and welcome all to beautiful Sault Ste. Marie. The Sault Ste. Marie Airport. Go there to get anywhere.
Welcome back, curling fans. This is end number 4 of the B qualifier between Reid Carruthers and Sinnett. As a quick look at the clocks, both teams are running about the same. 21 minutes left. I would call that plenty of time with 5 ends to go. We are in, kind of a battle of the wits. A few misses here and there. Nothing egregious, and all of it managed. What do you think so far, Sean? Carry on, or do anybody need to change their thoughts?
In a 1-point game, you're not changing anything yet. It's they exchanged deuces early, so the first couple of ends, both teams can say that they kind of got the outcome they were looking for. Reid had a chance for 3 in the first, actually. Last end, there's a couple of shots Reid might like to have back. They had a couple of chances to maybe set up a deuce, and in the end, had to take their single.
Sounds good. And thanks to everyone who's watching us this morning. If we've said anything enlightening, entertaining, or interesting, like it, love it, comment back, subscribe. This Curl Zone crew in Curling Stadium is very insightful, if not entertaining. All right, so we have center guard, corner guard, player on the center, and once again, we're throwing in the attempted corner freeze. Kind of following script for a lot of the ends we've seen this week. Hair light, but in the house. Reid's, as expected, just going to throw a second one in there. Caitlin's asking, hey, should we go with the other turn? The danger there, of course, being the line of the rocks.
Yeah.
I get the idea of going with the stagger. On swingy ice, that feels good. But on straighter ice, you really got to be careful about what line and angle you're creating, right?
Yeah, well, and it also could be he just threw the other turn and likes the idea of how much it curled. But you can certainly make the shot. It looks like this morning on either turn. You do have to come a little tighter to those rocks and the rings than maybe they're used to. He's got great line if he's got the weight.
It's walking across. This is more of a expected curl path from their standard games. A little light, not a great outcome. Now this is, do you prefer a double or do you want to control the front of the house? Which is your preference on this?
I think you want to keep your shooter for sure. I don't mind hitting it just a little bit on the outside because you don't have to kill that green. If you just rub it on the way by, you kind of get the best of both worlds. Hold your shooter and move it out from behind cover.
Sure, put it in the big hole on the other side. I get that.
Leaving yourself angled at the front's not bad either. Needs more curl than this to do that, though.
Ooh, almost had your excuse me nudge, but just a bit thick. To the point, kept a shooter in a nice spot. Reid's thinking, hey, if I hit it back, is it going to be a guard?
He's going to try to roll under.
That makes a lot of sense. It's not going to do him a whole lot of good up there in no man's land. He's asking Caitlin for just about a, roll just clean underneath of this yellow one. Keep everything in as straight a line as possible.
I think he only wants to be about half under the yellow. Leave those two staggered, and then, even though it's in the 12-foot, that's basically 3 guards, including a staggered guard on your shot stone. That's probably just far enough.
Well, you do have overlapping top 12 guards.
Yeah.
That's kind of where those play at the moment. So his green is well protected.
Well, it's probably well protected. I'm debating myself. Did you need to roll 2 inches farther? Because right now, is there enough of that green sticking out that if he makes the double on the greens, is he getting the triple?
I'm thinking it sticks on the deep one, but your point is definitely there. So let's see how many they move. We got 1. Oh, hey. Definitely not what they were after. Took their own out. Did spread the greens around a little bit so they're not all under the guard.
Well, it got rid of that staggered situation at the top, too. That yellow one wasn't helping them where it was.
Reid's thinking guard mine, draw behind. Now, here we go again. This is the second end where we've seen a team say, let's go underneath everything. Danger, of course, being a little too deep is just a catcher for stuff.
Yeah, the problem, though, now is you try to put something up high again, just because that that one green stone out in the open is in the 12-foot, they can come off it and maybe kill 2 or 3, so you almost have to come deeper here. Or you, I guess, alternatively guard that one in the 12, but then they're running the yellow back again.
Correct. They're playing this for a hard swing, waiting for it. Starting to walk across now. It's coming. It's coming. And we've got... Good enough that they're still just going to go after the guard.
Yeah, you can't really roll under the center with that.
It is kind of a nice, clean, straight back with the yellow. Get 2 greens moving fairly easily. Your shooter hopefully rolls out of the middle. There's a lot of different ways you can move green rocks here. Ooh, little overcurl. Little overcurl. I would suggest they were hoping for a little bit thinner on the contact rock. You would have moved 2 greens and got your shooter at least off the center line. Not sure I'd call that a good outcome. What do you think?
Yeah, no, not really. And I'm not sure I'd be playing this either. Like, you corner freeze that, how's he ever getting? So Reid's worried about the double and the greens at the front, but you move the yellow, and now he's got a path at shot rock. There's no way you're moving that yellow and staying there.
That looks like a tough shot, judging with my eyes of last night. Today, he's got a little bit more curl, but to your point, the best you're going to do is roll off into the far out 8 foot.
Yeah, and then he's going to make the hit and roll under off shot rock. So,
and then you're having a tough dance to only give up 1. If you pretended this was your leads rock and you just corner froze that yellow one.
I don't mind the corner freeze. I don't think the double on the greens is easy as he thinks it's going to be.
Even if it were easy, would the shooter not leave as well? So then you just crack that pair you've frozen and roll under the guard? If you're looking 2 or 3 shots down the road, I like your freeze plan a little bit more.
What they're talking about now is kind of the same thing. It's just that they're putting it up higher. They're almost playing it like just a straight guard, which is not bad either.
The defense, if that double's there, is not as nice with the guard in my book. If they're frozen, then you can still generate an easy 2. But hey, guards are your friend. I guess I'm trying to generate a 2. Generate steal. You know what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Read the scoreboard right, silly. All right, well, we're going 4-foot rock in the way. Whether it's frozen or partially tucked under the long guard, that's what the plan is.
Yeah, that stone in the 4-foot biting the button. Even though it's off center line, just with the situation in the house right now, it's definitely in a good enough spot to try to steal with. You know, if there's absolutely nothing on the other side, you assume the other team's going to make that draw to the button, but there's rocks in the way right now. So
this is way out there. We do know it curls hard, but this is way out there.
He's going to be fine.
Here it goes. Here it goes.
This stop.
I was going to say this almost has too much going.
Yeah, he can get to that shot stone, I think.
I can't disagree with you. That'd be a real nice shot if you can pull that one off. Catch a quarter of the green, roll a little bit off to the side, leave yourself sitting 2. I suppose you could just plunk it and stay there. That's not a terrible outcome if you could get it to just stick. Play like back line hack. Hard call. What do you think?
Yeah, that's tough.
The roll leaves the 4-foot to have Reid just park one back in there. That's my only fear with that hard sweeping draw.
Yeah, whether or not he's going to draw against 2 though without last rock, I don't know if he is. They're talking about the freeze, which is there. What are we at? We're at third's last stone. The freeze isn't horrible because you've got another yellow out in the corner that if you had to run it in at the end, you could. So it's not going to be a comfortable next shot for Reid, no matter what it is. You sit and take a look at it. In general terms, forget about where the rocks are. If we're sitting second and third and their shot just skip stones left to come, who's uncomfortable? Well, it's going to be Reid.
Absolutely.
So you make the freeze. He doesn't really have a way to get either of the yellows out. And a guard doesn't take it much away.
The tendency is to want to leave yourself shot after a rock is thrown, but if you don't consider that, then your plan's pretty good. Freeze on them, let them be shot for a little while, then you got a variety of ways to move it, and you may actually get a 3 out of it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't call that a bad plan.
Yeah, I mean, that's your scary thing, is that you might not have a good shot, but you're going to have a shot. Like, he can't take everything away.
Are you so afraid of a steal of 1 against that you wouldn't set it up? I like the plan.
Well, and the ice conditions too, is to try to move it. It's still, as much as we're seeing more curl today than we have in the previous 2 days, it's still a very tough shot. Whereas the freeze is a little bit more in.
Well, they've seen it. They've seen it a few times today. To your point, once you add 6-8 feet, you start to lose track of where the break point is. It's going to be a lot harder to hit it. That said, looks like they want to move that green one. This is definitely not freeze ice.
No.
All right, so we're looking to catch as much of that green as we can. Roll somewhere to sit 2, I would assume, is the second part of the plan. You could just pick it out, but I don't know if that really makes your position better.
It gives Reid a chance to make it a little bit better.
So, what do we got here? We got sweep on, sweep off. This is a solid board. Here it goes, walking across. It's getting a bit tight. All right, they're by. There we go. Well executed in the sense of what they said, green not in the 4-foot, sitting 2.
Yeah, the green went farther than the yellow, so.
Nicely thrown rock. That was the plan. They executed. So now Reid's got a couple of choices. What are you thinking on this one?
Well, he can only see the 1 yellow. He's going to have to make a play towards it for sure. You don't want to risk giving up 3. You hit it, you're probably always giving up 2. He kind of made it look like he was looking at the corner freeze. It's not going to be the most comfortable of corner freezes to play either.
I don't imagine the corner freeze is a significantly better outcome than the hit, and the hit's probably easier to call.
Well, the corner freeze probably takes away both yellows, but there's no plan B. It's got to be perfect.
Yeah, and then they could still just walk it down to the 4-foot and try for the skip's deuce, so the 2 is still reasonably likely. Anyways, hit the yellow one, make them keep earning their 2. Seems to be what they've decided on.
Yeah, the scary thing here, when you hit this, you got to roll towards the broom. And then what you're going to see from Samuel Strauss, he's going to try to hit and roll all the way over to that green at the back of the 12-foot, so he'll be over-buried on everything at the front, sitting 2, and you can't get either one of the yellows.
Well, there's contact.
I did not get the big roll. He stayed right there. That's pretty good, because that other roll, and I still think he's got to play it. Yeah, that big roll that way, but it's now a much longer roll.
There is technically a green catcher over there.
Yep.
He's actually thinking, do I take the really short roll under the corner?
Yeah, I don't like that call. Hard to get under there. And he might see that when he gets down to the hacks, but you stay right there, and now Reid's going to try to take the big roll, and your stone at the front is eliminated.
If they do the long roll, is there any chance Reid makes use of that open green in the top 12?
To do what? Like tap it up? I don't know.
I have a hard time seeing it, but I'm just trying to validate why they wouldn't take the long roll.
He might be able to come off it and kill the other yellow, but that's still giving up a deuce. I can't see him try to tap it straight back or anything like that. He's too much risk giving up 3, but...
Yeah, to your point. Anyways, objective 1, get rid of the green. Roll short to the left or long to the right. Nose is not preferred. Sweepers are playing it simple. It's got a decent amount of weight on this.
Yeah, they're playing it for the short roll.
And they're going to walk away with the nose. Thunk.
And now Reid's going to roll to the back of the forefoot. And you're going to be drawing for 1.
Yeah, they didn't think twice about that one. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm not entirely sure why they discounted roll underneath of everything.
Well, you know, I think part of it is because they're rolling well behind the tee line, and your gut says don't do that. But in this particular case, it wouldn't have mattered because you can't get to it from the other side. You roll well underneath. Like if you could force Reid to draw against 2 when you've got last rock, which I'm not saying he'd necessarily play it, but he might have had to. You get the roll well over there, and maybe all he has is the in-turn draw and try to bury it. If he doesn't, you've got a chance for 3.
Absolutely. But that's not how the cards played. So Reid's now going to do his attempt at the hit and long roll. Technically, he could also roll a little bit to the left. You're running at not being shot rock. So the long roll is the plan.
Yeah, I think to the back forefoot, he's got a chance to steal. Even if he rolls all the way into the green on the other side, he's going to be shot rock, and he'll have him forced to draw for 1. But you could almost catch look at where that yellow is. You could almost catch the back of the button with a good roll here, and then it's a tough draw to score.
Early signal says a little bit heavy, but sweepers are holding line. Not holding line.
Really thin.
Oosh. Catcher?
I don't know if he got enough of the catcher. I think he did.
I think they got a little lucky with the saving by the lifeguard in the back of the rings there. So it looks like green sitting 1.
Yeah. The double would score 2, but it's a lot of room between those 2 stones.
Yeah. Nose double on the greens. Keep your shooter.
There's an out-turn draw split that's there too. That's not going to look good, but it's there.
Through the port. That's perfectly acceptable. Maybe they're saying this is measurable. Let's throw it in the forefoot and see what the measuring stick gives us. It's really hard to tell. Those colored handles are so hard to read on an overhead. So they either think they're sitting 1 or they think it's worth measuring to see they're sitting 1, and they're just going to go for the draw. Worst case scenario, game's tied. You'd hate to try something really cute and then find out you were shot. They don't seem super convinced about this plan. Strauss in the front end having a long conversation about how to throw this draw.
Yeah, some of it could be the weight. Again, you look at where the broom is, and they probably haven't gone out this wide a ton this weekend.
Well, I got my handy stopwatch, so we'll see what that number says. They've been throwing 15s for the most part, 15 and a half kind of thing. I don't think the camera did me any justice on that, so we'll just say, looks like they guessed well. Slides to the back 8, but that's good enough to be shot. Now we just got to find out who. They kicked those off like they already knew.
So I think it's just the single.
All right, well, we'll roll with that. So after 4, we're going to call it a 3-3 tie, and we'll double check when we come back in a couple minutes.
For over 20 years, the Sandra Schmirler Foundation has granted more than $9 million to hospitals across Canada for life-saving equipment for premature and critically ill babies. In the past 4 years alone, $4 million has been granted thanks to the curling community's incredible generosity. The need continues year-round, and with your help, we can ensure every baby has the chance to grow up and become a champion, just like Sandra.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Welcome to the RockShop.net, the official store for the Grand Slam of curling. Whether you're looking for the best hats, stylish clothing, fun toys, or unique accessories, the Rock Shop has it all. Shop online anytime at therockshop.net for exclusive Grand Slam of curling gear, or come see us in person at your next event. TheRockShop.net, where fans find their favorite curling gear.
Welcome back, everybody. That's 4 ends in the book here at the B qualifier between Reid Carruthers and Team Sinnett. Sinnett, of course, playing second, Strauss throwing last. You can see that the clocks are generous-ish. That's not a ton of time. It's less than half left, so they played a hair slow.
Yeah, that last end took some time. You know, that 13:38 clock, we were looking at times over both teams over 20 minutes when we started the last end, so...
And both teams start with, we're going to call it 34 minutes. So if you split that in two, you should have 16, 17 on the clock to be happy. And 13 is a lot less than 16. So we'll see how it goes. I'm just going to walk through the other sheets quickly. There's a lot going on this morning. Joel Returnaz has a 6-1 lead over Marco Hosley. Team Abbey is 1 point behind against Daniel Casper. A couple of blanks on the board. There's our sheet. Then moving across, Alex Champ and Michael Fournier are in a close one, 3-2 for Fournier. Nathan Young of St. John's is up 4-1 on Jonathan Buke of Kingston. And then on our final sheet, Evan Van Amsterdam is out 2-0 lead on Dustin Kalhoff. Yes. I'm having a mouthful this morning, aren't I? But that sheet, this is why I was a little stumbly. Their scoreboard's a bit behind, so we'll see if that one catches up. All right, so 2-2-1-1, but not a shortage of strategy and attempts here. Anybody going to change their plan?
Yeah, they are, and it's dictated by the clock. They can't play 4 more complicated ends, or they'll run out of time. So, and I think it was the Sinnett team that's a little shorter on time. So you saw already they played the run back, and that could be advantage Carruthers because he's already in a spot where he might be able to look at a blank here. We talked about it a lot yesterday. If people who've watched games that I've broadcast over the last couple of years, I talk about it a lot. These top teams are already thinking about odd even end in the first end. You get to the 5th here, Reid Carruthers would love to blank this and have 2 hammers to 1.
Correct. And he has the advantage clock. So he's kind of got a lot of things in his bag of tricks.
Yep.
So we'll see how it plays out. This is certainly already cleaner and faster. We're going to trade rocks a little bit here. Do any of the players take a deep breath in this? All strategy and 2 hammers to 1 aside, do any of them go, you know what, it's just nice to have a clean hand?
Probably not at this point in the game. This is it's clock determined that Sinnett kind of needs to do this, but yeah, we're 4 games into the competition. They don't need the clean in so much to speak if it wasn't for the time clock. That's the issue, and it's actually strategically disadvantage for Sinnett to be playing a clean end here, but kind of has to. He doesn't really have the time to play 4 more complicated ends.
Correct. So then he's almost thinking, hey, let's do the double blank to
Yeah.
Save time and mess up the whole counter. All right, well, to that point, we're already quickly into thirds rocks here. Trading hits with only one really long guard to possibly hide behind. It's not really a corner, it's not really a center, but it is a yellow. So they could try to roll under it. A bit like so, at least bringing it into play. Reid's got plenty, and the rock is high enough of a guard that you can get around it. The nice thing here in the Sinnett bucket is Reid's rolling away into the open every time.
Well, and Reid's happy rolling away into the open. He's happy with a blank here. He'd like to roll right to the Ford logo would probably be the best spot, because we're getting late enough in the end now. It'd be hard for the Sinnett team to roll back behind cover. It's that guard is off center enough. You don't expect to steal with something behind it, but you can certainly get the force.
Correct. That would be absolutely ideal in Sinnett's world, as a force of one and save some time. Small mistake there. The rollout gives Chase the opportunity to, as you said, put a rock a little better under that guard. Make that hit a little bit harder on BJ's next one. It's high enough that you could probably hit it no matter what, I would think.
On this ice, I'm not sure that's true, but it is curling more today. But again, as soon as you step the weight up, it straightens out a bit. You saw it even on that last one. He didn't get anywhere close to the piece he was trying to hit. Enough to kill it, but you get this dead buried. You might see a run back.
The L of Maitland.
I think you get it dead buried, you see the run back attempt. It's got to curl a lot to be dead buried.
It's walking over. We're trying. It's a better position than the last one. So now it's actually trying to come out the other side. It's hard to tell on the overhead, but when we were looking over Reid's shoulder, it kind of looks like you can see the outside of it. If you've got even a piece, if you've got a quarter, do you not try this no matter what? If you hit the guard, you hit the guard?
Yeah, well, maybe, yeah. It's interesting because it's fifth and not sixth. If it's sixth, they play the corner freeze on this all day.
Correct.
Because that's a little deep for what they were playing.
It's certainly not the
if you wanted
not the force rock you're after.
Yeah, if you wanted to score two, the opportunity's there.
Well, I'm not sure pushing them into the house was part of the plan, but the guard's not there.
That didn't have enough weight. Like, he's not killing it if he gets to it.
No, that had just pushed them deep in the house and be buried, kind of as the plan. Would have been a nice outcome. You'd have been biting top 4 foot, mostly buried, sitting shot.
Yeah, but if you're not going to try to kill the yellow, I think the corner freeze was an easier shot.
I certainly won't argue with you.
Certainly a more natural shot. So I think that was probably underthrown. I think they were trying to kill it.
Sounds good. All right, well, this really does have force kind of stamped on it now. Small chance at a steal. Got a lot of button that Reid can play to, but still has force or steal as an option. This is going to be some form of a guard, I would expect. A guard a little bit better than the last one. Maybe a hair tighter, not too much tighter. Because
yeah, I'm not sure I'm in favor of this either. I'd be bringing this into the rings, because now with that little biter on the 12 foot, there's no blank here. So
Reid's going to go after you, right?
Reid's going to play the corner freeze now. And if he makes it, you're going to be hard pressed not to give him two.
So what you're saying is the force was a much easier play.
You come in.
The attempted steal is possibly going to bite you in the butt.
Yeah, you come in there, let him make the double. You hit back. You're sitting two. He's got to take one.
And I'm going to support you big time on this because that's not a great steel rock, half in the or partly in the forefoot.
No, not with everything else being wide open. Like the path to the button is there. The two ends. Last end we were talking about it. You know, you didn't need to be that close to the button because one half of the sheet was completely gone already. This time, that draw path on the outturn is you're never taking that away. You expect them to make it.
All right, so to your point, Reid's setting up for the corner freeze. Quite likely going to be shot. Maybe not, but it's still a very favorable position, even if he isn't.
Yeah, if he makes it and he's shot, you'd be putting the broom down for your next one thinking, why'd we throw that guard?
Coach took notes. Let's talk about this later. All right, so Reid's trying the out turn. Trying to freeze, preferably shot. Getting practice at this draw path, even if all things went horrible. Let's see what we got for speed at this point in the game. Connor's giving it the gratuitous clean. Little bit of help. Lots of room on the guard. 15-2. That's about what we've been seeing for draw most of the game.
Oh, we can't afford to
Have
chip
a little
off.
clunk, little kiss it. Yeah.
I think he got away with it.
It's still on the rock. You would call it a freeze. Not a ton of the rock frozen.
You can probably get to it with enough to move, but it is delicate.
You could get them both moving. I have a hard time seeing the green leave, but you could move it enough to be shot. You could do that super cute. Get just a little inside a nose. Hit it with, I don't know, backline hack. Flip a little bit under the guard.
If you're comfortable throwing a little bit more weight, you can double those two out easy enough, but you got to flirt with the guard to do that.
Yeah, it's hard to tell whether you can see. Well, the ice says that they can see enough of it to double it out, and that would be a good shot.
Yeah, I think you can see, if not all of it, close to all of it. You can double them out. The scary thing is, again, you got to flirt with the guard. Like, you could hit half a rock and double them out, but then you're not holding your shooter, and it's a blank.
Correct.
So you do have to flirt with that guard a little bit just to make sure you hold the shooter. That's how you get the force.
This is a much harder force than had they just drawn in. But those are choices of the past. So early sweep. Not a hard sweep, but keeping it there. Guard's coming into play. Guard's coming into play. Oh, they're by. And scooch the green out the back and scatter your yellows around to sit 3. That pretty much says force. You did, however, give Reid the choice of draw or hit.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to try to draw against a rock at the top of the forefoot. You have to go so much wider to get by it.
It's an unnecessary choice, but
yeah,
at least you could. Yeah, so nice little nose hit here. Basically the same thing Strauss just did. Got a little bit of roll room, so you don't get too cute to the guard. So successful force. Saved some time. I guess I should say successful force after Reid makes his shot, but we can assume that they're going to do good. It's a little bit out there, but nice, manageable weight. And there you go. 1 on the board for green. That makes it 4-3 for Carruthers. We'll be back in a minute.
you work the land, you just got to be a jack of all trades type. There's just too much to do. So if you got to be a welder or a farmer or a ditch digger, that's just who you are that day. Then tomorrow, you can be somebody else.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
Live curling rocks. And this November, the best in the world are coming to Tahoe. Get your seats now at gsoctickets.com. But hurry, early bird pricing ends soon.
Welcome back, everybody. We are now cruising into the sixth end of this B qualifying match between Carruthers and Sinnett of the USA. It's been a back and forth, take two, give two, take one, give one. We've seen a bit of strategic jostling, some couple different styles. Sinnett, of course, still under the clock pressure. So sixth end, Reid doesn't have hammer anymore. What are you thinking?
Yeah, well, and we came back just as that stone was coming to rest, so we didn't see the call, but the first guard is high enough you can't even see it in the overhead. I have to think that was a call for a second center guard, and Reid might be trying to put some pressure on here. Of course, you know that Sinnett's going to try to score his deuce here, so he's trying to bring the play to the middle and, you know, complicate this end a little bit. We were talking about it a bit in the break. The Sinnett team really hasn't forced Carruthers into anything that's uncomfortable, shall we say. So for Reid, he can put some pressure on. I mean, this is a nice draw. Wow.
That was a really nice use of that corner.
Yep.
It's a wide corner. It's not in the way, but it's great for hiding a rock behind to try to score your two with.
And
so now Rhett's gonna. I'm gonna think Reid's gonna have that in the corner of his vision all in long for now.
Yeah, it's just we're still in the free guard zone, so we can't, like, they'd play the run on the corner guard if they were allowed to, but you're not. So come around his double centers, so even though the second one didn't get back to the center line, it's still at least a double guard. There's no in-turn draw to the button area.
Yeah, that middling green guard's not really helping either of them at this point. Kind of takes away half the forefoot as much as anything.
Yeah.
So well, Chase and company are thinking, you know what, this thing is a pain. Let's get rid of it. Get rid of both of them. Makeable double. You could actually roll over and stack up your corner guards.
Haven't pointed this out yet, but Chase Sinnett calls the game for this team, skips the game, but he throws the second stones.
Well, that one quite a bit too thin. Doesn't get the double or the roll for guards. So really just a change of rocks.
Yeah.
He's going to come out and try to make this a better pair of guards in the middle.
Yeah, that was the danger of playing that one. It's the better angle to get the rock in the forefoot, but it wasn't as good of a guard either.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Is, like I say, to me, it wasn't really supporting either team, but it was cutting off that side of the sheet quite badly. So Maybe they're just trying to protect that path to the 4.
I thought he might have played the double peel using the higher one to get the tighter one, get both guards off. Or
this looks like it's going to a very similar area. A little bit more curl.
Now you kind of have to try to get all 3 of them. And the danger now, you hit this first green one too thin now, it's going to miss the second green one and catch the yellow.
It's almost impossible to play this double run back without that yellow having some risk on it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of angles aimed at it. Oh, there's a nice clock look. 9 minutes for 3 ends is not a ton of time. Reid's looking pretty good. Literally and figuratively. Looking good in time, and his face was in the shot. All right, so here's the run back. And that's terrible outcomes on all fronts.
Yeah.
That is square in the bad bucket. You didn't get rid of the guards. You didn't get rid of the green in the house. The only outcome you did like is you didn't lose your yellow in the house.
You were trying to think of something nice to say, and there just isn't
I'm
anything
giving
on
them
that one.
something.
Yeah. He didn't roll far enough to get at shot rock, I don't think. And now this is just going to be a third guard on that same. Yellow's not really covering anything in the green, but it's covering your path to get at it directly. So
You might say, hey, there's a long yellow run back instead of a green one. Milking every positive I can. So, yeah, BJ is just getting asked to put another long guard on this. That rock is certainly steel quality.
Tuck a sliver of this under the yellow, and I don't think there's a double peel on the greens available either, but this is a long ways out.
So this is basically put back what you just had because you loved it. Still has a nice stagger on all the greens.
Yeah.
Could get all 3 of them moving. So maybe they were getting a little greedy on their last peel attempt, but now they're kind of pot committed. So here's another get 2 greens moving call.
Yeah.
The kicker is that yellow's actually a catcher for your shooter.
That's what I was thinking. I hate to be the announcer's jinx, but you could green onto green onto the green in the house. And okay, I'm running out of positives to milk out of this outside of you moved the yellows out of the way. You lost your second point. You only got 1 guard off, but you did get a guard off. Yeah, but now we're no longer talking about trying to score 2. It's how do we not give up the steal? That yellow behind the corner, that was supposed to be your second point.
Or your savior when you just do a run back or something. And yep. Well, this one's kind of playing like a landslide a bit, but still rocks to go. So BJ's just going to put the guard back again. It's kind of playing out where they throw easy shots and Sinnett and friends throw hard shots. You get those ends from time to time. This is a bit deeper. Different opportunity.
Yeah, you're probably looking at just double peel because to hit it thin enough to go over the top and get all 3 of them is, I mean, it's there still. It's tougher. This looks more natural to just make the straight back double. The nice thing about this one is if it ever over curled a sliver, you might double out the one in the rings. Now you'd leave 2 centers. Close to
But
that.
at least it's your center. This right here. This is exactly what we're talking about.
What I was talking about, yep.
Yeah, so now Reid's is not on the can. There's lots of guards. There's draws and taps and things. There's lots of yellow rocks to be used. So that's a much better clean outcome than the first 2 attempts.
Yeah, I mean, it's still not the shot they were playing, but you got the stone. I mean, that stone was in a great spot to try to steal with. It's hard for Reid to make this one better. He could make it as good, maybe, but it's hard to make it any better than the rock that was just there.
Correct. We have enough curl to bury under that green one. Light top button, full in the 4-foot, something in that area. And then the U.S. crew is going to have to choose between another green double or A trickier run back with a yellow. I seem to think this one's a little warm, or a little wide perhaps. A lot of air on that guard.
Or both.
Or all the above.
Yeah, it was one where they started to think about sweeping for curl, but you can't, because it's the one thing that tends to get forgotten. You're still sweeping. You're still going to take it farther. And if you start sweeping for curl, sometimes it ends up through. Now that one was through anyway, but
yeah,
here's your
very
chance to get your
unforced
two.
error. So this end had been playing as a downhill, uphill battle up till now. And then Reid just kind of flipped that whole narrative on its head with a unexpected gaff. All right, opportunity for Strauss to park one into the 4-foot.
Yeah, and the question here is, how good do you want to make it?
If it's too well buried, that green run back is
Comes
scary.
straight back, yeah.
It's almost like you just want to nibble the top 4-foot, maybe even show a sliver of the yellow. Yeah, you don't want to be too good, or Reid's going to have no choice but just plow that green straight back.
Yeah, and if he makes it, you're going to have a hard shot to, well, whether you choose to play some kind of run back for the blank or to try to score. Either one of them is going to be very difficult. This has got a lot of room yet.
15, so at least it's closer on the weight. Still a bit deep. Well, Reid's got some choices.
Yeah, he could follow it down even if he's not shot rock. How do you score two?
That was where my brain immediately went. Freeze to it and nudge it 3 inches. Somebody's getting one. That's got to be easier than the run back.
Oh, these teams are so good at the runs too. If you run it and dead stick it, you're probably stealing. If you run it, even if you roll well over to the side, it's probably good enough for the force. I don't love this. This looks like he's trying to finesse it out of there.
That does kind of look like hack weight
Like
something.
This looks like by far the hardest of all the options.
That's where my brain went. This is the least likeliest in percentages.
And for not a great result. Like if you make this, you're still popping out of the open. He's got a fairly easy blank. It's the hardest shot out there for the least favorable result.
I completely agree. To your point, run back in principle is harder, but they practice it like crazy and the outcome is great. Freeze, the outcome is great, and it's not that hard of a shot. This is a bit goofy. Let's see what they come up with. It's not a ton of weight. Pounding it hard early. Maybe that's part of their plan. They're past the guard. Clunk. Is the yellow going to leave? The yellow leaves. Green wide open. Case in point for your narrative. That was a pretty nice outcome for Team Strauss. They're thinking, this is great. Blanked end.
Well, it's great for what they're. I mean, if you'd started the end off and told them they were going to get a blank, they wouldn't have been thrilled because it's 6th end. They would have liked to use that hammer. But the way this end has been going, yeah, now suddenly a blank looks great.
They're saying we won out of that mess. That's a momentum changer to go from looking uphill to, all right, we got a blanked end. Assuming they're blanking yet.
Yeah, that looked like a big pop on the release.
The silent takeout. Unfortunate tragedy to end this end, but that's a steal of 1 for Carruthers. That's a 5-3 lead after 6. We'll be right back.
Developed over a decade in collaboration with the finest ice makers this side of the Atlantic, the Pebblehead PB5 is nothing short of a triumph of sophistication and craftsmanship. Weighing less than half its lumbering copper predecessors, yet boasting 10-fold their durability, the PB5 delivers perfect, consistent ice, time after time. The PB5 by Pebbleheads.com, the apex of ice-making ingenuity for the roaring game of curling.
There's no way
2025-2026 Grand Slam of Curling schedule is out, with big events happening all over Canada, like the Masters heading to London in September, the Tour Challenge from Nisku this October, the Canadian Open from Saskatoon in December, and the Players' Championship from Steinbeck coming in January. Early bird weekend and full event passes on sale now at gsoctickets.com. Let's rock!
I've got this one.
So, how was that? Wonderful. Now let's do it again.
BDO Assurance, a commitment to quality.
Welcome back, everybody. We've got 6 ends in the bag. The score is 5-3 Carruthers after a huge unforced error and a silent takeout to wrap up the last end. So, how do you recover from that, and what does your plan for 7 look like if your team's Sinnett?
Well, he's got to set up for some offense here. If you get a chance to score 3, you'll take it. If you had to score 2, it's not ideal because you got to try to steal the win. But I mean, if you blank this in and you're in the same situation at 8, so a blank's not horrible here. What he really doesn't want to see is a force, so flip that to the other side. Reid Carruthers wants to see 1 point scored here this end. Either way, he doesn't care. We steal one, we force one, we're golden coming home. Carruthers doesn't want to see a blank very bad. I'm trying to decide on this ice. Would you rather give up 2 or give up the blank? It might be 6 of one or half a dozen of the other.
I totally understand where you're going with that.
It's tough ice to score 2, so you might have a preference towards the blank, just because even though you'd be giving up last rock coming home, it's not easy ice for Sinnett to score a deuce.
I wouldn't say there's been a decisive advantage for the team with Hammer.
No. So we talked about it a little bit in the game last night. You do see, the stats are out there and different teams will look at it analytically different. The stats still support the idea that you might be better off 1 up coming home, but I think my belief is it really depends on the ice conditions, and the ice conditions here are not as conducive to putting up the crooked numbers.
Correct. Yes, the swingier the ice, the crookeder the numbers typically. I'll agree with you on that. Anyways, we all grew up on straight ice and a lot of 1s and 2s. Anyways, so we're looking at here. We got 2 corner guards as opposed to stacked corners. Okay, that's a team preference. We've got that kind of zigzaggy center guardness again, which I wouldn't call prototypical, but thus far has been working out for Reid. Now they're looking to take advantage of some of the roles that Reid's given them, right?
Yeah, he would have liked to have gotten those overlapped, because now he doesn't have to go after both guards. He can go after the tight guard and the rock in the rings, and probably hold his shooter for another corner.
So let's see how many of those outcomes you get. 1 green, 1 gone. Well, you got 1 of the outcomes. 1 green out of the way. Wouldn't call that a beneficial outcome.
No.
You could have got both greens moving. You could have got 2 guards out of it. So many could haves in that sentence.
Yeah, there were 3 rocks you were looking at. You'd like to have gotten 2 of them the way you wanted. Either get rid of 2 greens or get the hit and roll to the corner and leave a double corner on the one side. You only got 1. And really, the guard was the least important of the options.
It's kind of like they got lost in the options and missed in the middle. Anyways, okay, so Reid's asking for that center guard to go back up.
That's just hooking sideways. That must have picked.
That's that path where they start to bend, but that was an unusual amount of bury under a guard.
You're you're just about dead buried, and you're only 2 feet behind the other rock. That looked
That's
like it might have grabbed.
assistance by something else. I will agree. All right, timeout called here so they can align on their thought process. So that means they have choices. What choices do you think they have?
Well, they've got the double peel, which could easily turn into a triple peel because those two rocks aren't very far apart. So it's not hard to make contact with both of them. And if you go over the top of the second one, it's coming straight back. The problem with that is you'll see Reid probably peel one of the corner guards. I would guess the closer one, and the longer one by itself isn't guarding much. He does have a way to get at that green directly. And then your choices are you hitting and rolling, or are you just tapping it back? That's what they're talking about now. Coach is just getting down to the far end now.
So it kind of feels, if I'm pretending to be coach, it kind of feels like, are you deciding now is when you hit the gas pedal, or do we continue with clean and defense? I'm really enticed to try to do something with that one in the top four.
Well, I think that's what they're looking at. The double peel, you're probably end up playing for a blank, which I'll be honest with you, blank's not the worst situation here. Now, granted, it's not easy ice to score multiples on, but if you score 3 here, a deuce in 8 still kills you. If you score 3 in 8, you win. If you score 2 in either 7 or 8, you still have to steal to win.
Correct.
This is definitely a more offensive call, and I think it keeps the chance for 3 alive. Just try to tap this back. There is a chance, actually, the way some of these have curled, you might be able to get just past the nose with the weight to tap it back. That's really greedy, but it might be there.
Greedy is kind of what you need at the 7th end.
Yeah.
Down 2, a little greed might serve good purpose. So we're looking at about, call it backline weight. As close to the guard as you can, as close to the nose on the contact, push that other green under the tee line.
You really got to get by the front,
They're
though.
really having to push this one. It does not look like a lot of weight. Oh, it's by. There we go. That was the 13-7, so yeah, that was just through. That was the weight they were after. That roll didn't work out very well for them.
No, they did not get the finish they were looking for. That surprised me because his weight was perfect.
Clocks are getting closer. 6 minutes for an end and a half. I would call that safe. So they did make up enough time through 5 and 6, even if it cost them a steal.
Yeah, I don't know what they're playing for timeout rules here either. Like the clock rule, they're giving them that they start with generous amount of time, but if it's only one timeout, they've used it.
So now Reid's looking to probably just go back underneath everything, but he's not got a lot of roll here.
Nose isn't horrible. You're high enough up now that any roll's not going to be shot rock.
I don't think you can see enough to roll all the way across under the, as we're looking at left guard. So they're looking to go under the right guard. Will you be shot?
Well, you might be, because if you make the roll behind the yellows, you're going to be awfully close to making the double.
This is fair.
You're not going to be shot without making the double.
Coming down with a nice simple board weight, and they're pretty much going to nose it. A little, I would call that uncomfortable roll. I'm not sure that does them a lot of justice. No roll or a lot of roll. Half roll is not so fun. So Reid didn't say where he wanted to go, but would you roll back under the guards?
I'm not sure that I would, no. Because if you're right under, you're going to force Sinnett to play the come around.
Correct.
You roll half under is probably pretty good. Even the nose hit's not bad. Because again, nose hit back, you're not shot rock. So.
Yep. I kind of like a small roll back to the middle so that you can tap or whatever later on. But dead nose here is still a very useful rock.
I don't think you want to bury any of this. You could roll a few inches towards it just to make it a straighter tap back, but I don't think you want to bury a piece of this at all.
Well, they're trying to get some curl into it. There it goes. Well, apparently rolling under the guards is what they're going to do.
I think this forces a draw.
That's what I would think. We've seen plenty of finish. In-turn, out-turn.
The in-turn looks great, except for the fact that corner guard's kind of in your way.
They were also tapping a bit deeper, maybe back 4, so that's giving you more room to work with. The nice thing here is even if you leave, call it half a rock sticking out, that back green is a pretty solid catcher. All right, so let's walk this down, bury as much as we can, and keep it at least partially in the 4-foot. There's a lot of air around those guards, but they're pretty high. Here it's going.
Yeah, they might have lost
Here it's going. Hey! Yeah, they didn't read that one quite right. Maybe they thought it was a hair heavier. They didn't bounce very hard, so let's call it top 4 weight. Very much an unforced error again. Had that slid back 8 foot and was fighting for shot, maybe second, would that have still been okay?
It would have been, and I don't think it was that deep. I mean, he only, yeah, it was top button weight at most.
Just going on the narrative of aired the wrong way.
Yeah.
Air deep would have been better than short and mostly open. All right, well.
Yeah, probably. A nose hit here, and I'm having a hard time seeing what he's even got left.
He still has the intern side, but to your point, that
Does
port's
he?
not very big.
Yeah, I'm not sure he does. I don't think you're getting by the guard and by the stone in the rings.
Can you ever hit that back green and just flop a little?
Well, you could, but you do that on your first one, and then where Reid stops with this one, he just taps it up a few inches and he's shot, and you still can't get to it.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Reid's got a beautiful little nose hit. So he's in complete control of the front of the house. They don't have a timeout left.
No, and this might be scoreboard dictated. It's your only shot to score, or to have any hope to score 2 is to hit this now. Even if, let me play devil's advocate on this too. You make the hit and roll in behind. Reid doesn't even throw. How do you score 2?
I was sitting here wondering if there's a scoochy thin double on the front too, and not even double in the sense of smash them out, but just push them at least into the far 12s. Could you get it past the guard enough to rattle the 2 front ones?
Yeah, I'm not sure you can, to be honest, with the weight that you'd have to throw to get the second one. You can only see, it looks to me like less than half a rock's worth of air, and that stone that Reid just threw is a little higher than the other one, so you're trying to hit about a quarter of a stone. Now, if you throw the weight that you need to throw to get the finish, I don't know that that's going to have enough weight to get the second stone out.
I completely agree, but also to your previous statement, that might be the only thing they end up with.
Well,
Whoops-a-daisy. Kind of get the feeling that they've lost Reid on this sheet. Maybe they got some, disharmony between I'm going to change my release a little, I'm going to move the ice a little. Maybe there's some little weird quirky in there. Because that was 2 fairly profound overcurls.
Yeah. This is one that's dictated, I think, by that intern draw looks really tough. Reid could have played it, try to get the steal set up that way. They're going to come in with the out turn again. They could take away the intern draw path. Yeah, I like what BJ's looking at. You rub that stone just a little bit on the way by. Right now, he's got, if he had to, he could nose hit that stone in the 8 foot and score 1. Well, if you rub that guard just a sliver on the way by, the nose won't be available.
Sure, just Just give it a nudge on your way back and try to scooch down onto maybe the tee of Maitland as we're looking at it.
Yeah. But if he gets by it clean and bites the top of the forefoot, that hit doesn't score either. So he's got a few options here, depending on the line.
So key here is the front end telling them what the weight is, I suppose. And choosing early. You can't choose super late.
They got to make a line judgment too.
Yeah. So, looks like they're thinking it's a bit warm. No, it looks like they're going to just straight tap and gardish.
Yeah, that's not very close to what they were playing. It definitely left a shot for one. He was dead heavy.
Absolutely. That was back line at the least. So, well, the good news is you're mostly buried biting the button.
Had they gotten up to the nose, it would have been okay. But by rolling out there, at least he's left them a shot. Now,
yes.
You know, he had the chance for the blank last end, and I thought he kind of rushed his delivery, and it wasn't his best throw. You have to take your time here. There's a bit of a, that relief breath. I said, oh, at least I've got a shot to score. But you still have to make a draw to the button. This is not easy.
This is routine. And to your point, that breath, just relax and reset. Keep the body from being anxious.
Yeah, don't over-relax here just because you got a shot all of a sudden.
Sweepers think, okay, we're close. Line early seems fairly reasonable.
Yeah, we've seen them lose a couple here when they start to move. They've
15 and a half, so the weight's fine.
Just have to get by that green, they will.
Nicely executed. And that's a cute little one on the board for Team Sinnett. After 7, 5-4 advantage and hammer for Team Carruthers. We'll be back for the exciting 8 in a minute.
Developed over a decade in collaboration with the finest ice makers this side of the Atlantic, the Pebblehead PB5 is nothing short of a triumph of sophistication and craftsmanship. Weighing less than half its lumbering copper predecessors, yet boasting tenfold their durability, the PB5 delivers perfect, consistent ice, time after time. The PB5 by Pebbleheads.com, the apex of ice-making ingenuity for the roaring game of curling.
Live curling rocks. And this November, the best in the world are coming to Tahoe. Get your seats now at gsoctickets.com. But hurry, early bird pricing ends soon.
If you work the land, you just got to be a jack of all trades type. There's just too much to do. So if you got to be a welder or a farmer or a ditch digger, that's just who you are that day. Then tomorrow, you can be somebody else.
Ste.Marie Airport Development Corporation, owner and operator of the Ste.Marie, Ontario, Canada Airport, is proud to support the Sault Curlers Fall Classic and welcome all to beautiful Sault Ste. Marie. The Sault Ste. Marie Airport. Go there to get anywhere.
Welcome back, curling fans. We're rolling into the 8th and possibly final end of this B qualifying match between Carruthers and Sinnett here on Curl Zone. My name's Gord Copplethorne. I'm paired up with Sean Joyce today. Thanks for joining me and helping me out on this one, Sean. 8th end, down 1 without hammer. What's Sinnett up to?
Well, he wanted 2 guards on the center line, so I have to guess the first one wasn't on the center line, so it wasn't in the no-tick zone. And unfortunately, because we were slow coming back from commercials. We missed a tick shot. I'm just looking where those rocks ended up, and I'm thinking, yeah, that was a tick shot. We missed it.
Absolutely, that was a rare and well executed tick, and we didn't give it the applause.
But
that's
Connor
all right.
didn't. Yeah, Connor didn't miss it. We missed it. And that's another thing. You don't always see it played anymore because with the no tick zone rule in play, teams aren't playing it as often as they used to be. You don't get the opportunity. If it's touched the center line, you don't get the opportunity to play it because they're not playing it as much. They don't feel as comfortable playing it. Sometimes even when the opportunity presents itself, they don't even attempt it because teams were getting very good at it, but they were playing it a lot. And it's just with fewer reps, you just don't feel as comfortable playing with it.
Oh, I'm listening to you, but I'm cringing at the same time. I don't know, as I love this shot. I get the temptation to play the freeze, but then Reid's just going to get rid of a guard and go, thank you.
Well, you're kind of committed here. You have to. You're only going to... You gave up the tick shot on the first one. You're only going to ever have one guard to play with at the end of the end anyway. That's a pretty good shot. Yes, you're right. Reid's going to peel. I'm surprised he's peeling it that direction.
Who doesn't like hitting their own rock with a peeled guard?
Well, you certainly don't want to stuff it. You get rid of that rock at the edge of the 8-foot's not bad because right now and the freeze is queued up that it's going into that stone anyway. There you go. That's a bonus. Good.
Like you called it. Get rid of the junk.
Yeah.
2 rocks in the corner. Well done.
Well, because at some point in the end, you might have had a chance to play the yellow out, and it was never leaving over top of that stone anyway. If you're Sinnett right now, because you only had the one guard, because they got the tick shot, likely your best chance to steal now is going to be to sit 2 at the end of the end and hope that Reid rolls out. You're not likely going to be in a spot where you're going to be buried so well that you're going to steal it that way. So really that's your 2 ways to steal one is you end up sitting top button behind a guard, or you sit 2 in a position where maybe Reid can't make a nose hit and get shot rock, or he has to risk a rollout, things like that. So
then the expectation here is guard, peel, maybe guard. But then at some point, Sinnett does have to move things around a little bit in the house.
Yes, he does. And he'll have to make a decision at what point he wants to do it. That's back to the cat and mouse. I don't know if we've used that phrase yet today, but you use it a lot in these games. You have to make a decision at what point are you going to make your play on the rocks in the rings, and what points you're going to do it might determine what shot it's going to be, because you could try to just wiggle that back about 6 inches, just enough that you're shot rock and leave the 2 yellows angled onto the green. If you're doing something like that, you might do it a shot earlier, because if Reid does make a play on it and plants it, then you could just guard it. If you're thinking to try to make sure you sit 2, you might wait right till your last shot. There's always the danger if you wait right to the last shot that Reid might not peel the last guard. So it's I've actually turned and asked the other guy, if I throw one more guard, what are you going to do? And they will lie to you. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, to go with whatever they don't tell you.
Yeah. Well, they might tell you the truth too. That's the thing.
Okay. There's guard and peel. We got 6 rocks left. Looks like guard and
Well, yeah, one more
peel.
guard for sure.
I don't know. Is that there's what's the best alternate for Sinnett? Okay, yes, we're throwing a guard here, so we got 2 left. Do you plunk those to start with? But then he's probably coming down with a cannonball.
If you're gonna plunk them, I think you're waiting till the last shot. You want to sit 2 and you want to do it in a way that you don't leave them one on top of the other.
Yeah.
But
so what's your only alternative? Kind of try to spread them out, but then he's going to have 4 foot.
No, I think your alternative is you come down with just enough weight to try to move it back a foot and try to leave the yellows angled so that they're going into the green, which is a tough shot, but it's the best possible outcome.
Okay, well, I'm
could
going to run
freeze
the
again
assumption.
too. You could freeze again too.
If you're doing it with your second last rock.
Yeah, right now. You could dead freeze right now too, or try to move it. So I think they do have 2 timeouts by the looks of it. So they're trying to call one.
Or they're just waving their friends down for 4 brains are better than 2. I don't. To your point, I don't know what the timeout rules are.
Some of this discussion is going to be, well, what do we think Reid's going to do? And they haven't asked him yet.
Mr. Carruthers, what are you going to do on your next shot?
Yeah, if we're not shot, what are you going to do?
My assumption is he's going to hit something. So how do we make hit something hard or not really an option? I don't mind your plan of add the 3rd freeze.
Yeah, the only thing is it's got to be on the same angle.
Yes, it has to be.
Get to the center line side. Reid will be happy to just blast everything if everything's going to spin off the center line. He won't even care if the top yellow doesn't go. If it's going to spin over to the side of the yellow that's there now.
Yep.
If he's just got to spill it into the 8 foot, he's fine with that. You have to leave it angled in such a way that Yellowstone's not going anywhere.
I don't mind what they're saying, which is to break up the frozen pair.
But you still have to leave them lined up to go.
I was going to say the outcome is still the same thing. You need the line of yellow aimed square on the green.
Yeah.
Which to me makes the freeze seem like a little bit of a safer shot. Because at least with the freeze, if they're all frozen, there's a higher likelihood of a yellow staying. If you break them up and you're anything but perfectly lined up, it just kind of seems like hit everything hard.
That's true no matter how this ends up. If they're not perfectly lined, like if he overcurls to the center line, Reid will blast, and the yellow that's there now probably stays in the ring somewhere, but it's going to spin over into the 8 foot, and then he's going to have a relatively simple shot for his last one.
What happens if you're a little high, or like, I guess technically on the high side, but what happens if your freeze doesn't quite get all the way to the perfect line and is aimed a bit high? Would that not still keep that yellow one planted fairly well?
It depends how high. Like he might just pick it out then. He might not even go after the stone, pick it out. It doesn't care if the green goes, because this stone's not going to be in as good a position as the yellow that he's picking out.
So the moral of the story is, no matter how we slice it, you would have to do it absolutely perfect on a perfect line.
And
so they threw a guard to say, do it on our last one.
Now the question
that was the easy shot, so can't call it wrong.
Does Reid peel the guard?
You could throw another guard, but which side? Because technically the freeze is wrapped around the outturn. You could come with the in-turn and kiss the green.
Yeah, I think if you were throwing a draw, and he's peeling the guard. But if it was Reid, if you throw in the draw, you're throwing the in-turn to corner freeze the yellow.
Yes.
Because
the guard would be a bad choice. Some people might be goaded into it, but I think the guard gives Sinnett an option.
Sinnett's got 2 yellows he could run in there, and if he picks the green out, you're going to have a tough shot. So
yeah. We're going with get rid of the guard. And I don't have a problem with this. You're basically saying, you know what? Strauss has to make his shot perfect, and I'll probably still have a choice. All right. We know freeze is not an option. So you need to move that green 2 feet, most?
I think it's got to be more. By leaving it to the last one, I think you want to be sitting 2. If you're only sitting 1, there's no, Reid's not throwing against the loss. So you got to move that greenstone's got to have to move almost all the way out of the 4 foot.
I suppose it matters, yes, if you're trying to build the chance of a loss or just if the worst an extra.
Yeah, if the worst he's ever thrown against is the tie, it changes a lot, right?
Mm-hmm. So that, I guess kind of the key is to, like you were saying earlier, make it so Reid doesn't have a dead obvious nose hit for the simple win.
Yeah. So, they've still got to leave them in line, but it's a tougher tap.
Mm-hmm.
That's the advantage, if you want to call it that, if they had tried to play it on the last one, is that they didn't necessarily even have to be shot if they play the angle tap on the last one. It was just more important to keep them lined up. Yep. In this case, not only did I have to keep them lined up, but I think you need to be sitting two.
Certainly one. I can see what you mean by wanting to sit two. You also don't want to push the green too hard out, because then it's just bang double. It's got a ways to go. Here comes. Oop, little thin.
Didn't get to the line they needed. Yeah.
Little thin. Nose the middle, I think is... I don't know. If you nose the middle one, are you shot?
I'm not sure. You could make the double off the middle one. I mean, it's going to jab at the back, but the shooter's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Kind of looking like a crotch double, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you want to make sure you hit the one on the center line first. If you hit the outside one first, there is a chance that you jam the middle one and spin out the top.
Correct. You get kind of the around the horn kick and your rock spins up and hard right.
Yeah. But if you hit the one that's just nibbling the button first, your shooter's not ever leaving the forefoot.
And you don't even need to do it with a ton of weight. You need to make sure the one right in the forefoot or the button leaves and the other one just moves over. Because then you're certain that your shooter's shot.
And you might not even need to move it. Like, it's really hard to tell.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that the other thing that people tend to forget is you hit that right on the nose. Everybody assumes that the rocks stop dead. They don't. It's going to jump ahead a little bit. The harder you throw it, the more it jumps ahead. If you ever want to see it, put a rock on the tee line and just where the edge of the rocks just touch the tee line. Hit it right on the nose and look where the shooter ends up. It'll be a little bit past the tee line. And the harder you throw it, the more past it'll be.
Correct. The momentum carries it forward.
Yeah, there's that assumption that it makes contact and it stops immediately. It doesn't.
So this is looking like either a cruise missile out turn or a managed weight in turn. I didn't see which way they were going.
You could throw the intern with the cruise missile too here. It's the out.
And he's got a little under nose. Bang, bang. There you go. Exactly as planned. Did stuff it in the back, but scored their one. Congratulations, Reid Carruthers. He has a 6-4 victory over Team Sinnett going into the playoffs. Thank you for joining us here on Curl Zone. Thank you for joining me, Sean. I believe it was Kaylee in the background. Thank you as well, and we look forward to seeing you in the next draw.
Live curling rocks, and this November the best in the world are coming to Tahoe. Get your seats now at gsoctickets.com. But hurry, early bird pricing ends soon.
If you work the land, you just got to be a jack of all trades type. There's just too much to do. So if you got to be a welder or a farmer or a ditch digger, that's just who you are that day. Then tomorrow, you can be somebody else.